Hello, welcome to the first ever Philly Sports Reports interview. We have Brett and Oscar from the Phandemic Krew. What's going on? Welcome to the show, I guess.
How you
Ben,
doing?
how you doing? Thanks for having us on today.
All right, so I have 16 questions that I'm going to ask you guys, and then let's get right into it. So, first off, how did you guys meet, and what's the origin story of the crew?
Well, there's this lovely dating site called FindPhilliesFans.com. Nah, there's no real romantic story. To be honest with you, Oscar and I are both collectors, and we met through the collectors markets. I found a whole bunch of mugs. So at the Vet Stadium, there was like a bar in the penthouse suites called the Bullpen Room. And I found a bunch of mugs at a flea market, and my wife decided that was too many. So she acted like she hacked my account and was giving them away. And Oscar won. And I saw that he lived right around the corner from me. So when I dropped it off, like when he told me where he lived, I know exactly where that is. I grew up right over there. So we just became friends that way. We'd see each other around at events and games and things of that nature.
Okay, and then what's the origin story of, like, how did this all start?
How did it all start is just, me and Brett being very curious because baseball was allowing, teams to go back home to finish up training, summer camp. And there was one day I went out to the Citizen Bank Park to take a peek through the center field gates, and Brett was coming from FDR. Brett bumped into me at the center field gate, and he was telling me, hey, the guys are at FDR Park right now too. And basically from there, that's where, our relationship started to grow, and we just started showing up to every game because there was nothing stopping us from watching Phillies baseball from outside the park. That's how that all started. Once we started coming every day, I mean, we had to jump through a couple of obstacles with security and everything like that. But the group started to grow, and it started from like about 5 people to 10, and just started growing every day. And the Phillies had noticed that we were congregating out there, and it was the series against the Marlins, and the Marlins bullpen had some type of air horn like an air raid.
Yeah, I remember hearing it.
Yeah, and they were just rattling it off during the game. And I remember one of the Phillies executives, name's Howard Smith, very good guy, said, hey, guys, these Marlins are making, more noise than you. So you guys got to make some noise. So as he was leaving, I just remember when he was walking away, he turned around real quick and said, hey, you guys should name yourselves. And like kind of disappeared like a ghost. And then, me and Brett looked at each other, my fiance, we were all like trying to come up with names, and we were just throwing stuff on the wall. Nothing was sticking at the time. So we didn't want to hurt our brains. So we were like, listen, let's go home, think about it, and we'll meet up with each other with a name. As I was going home, my fiance, we were discussing what about Fandemic? And I remember looking at it, I was just blown away because it just matched with everything that was going on with the pandemic, adding like the Philly into it.
It's the perfect name for it.
In honor of Bryce Harper's, being one of our new players, who's like, his son is named Krew. Let's just add that in together. And that's how the Phandemic Krew happened. I remember texting Brett, like, hey, what do you think about this? And Brett was like, man, I love it. Let's go with it. Then a couple things happened after that. I remember we got a sign made. We set up like a debut day that we were going to put our name out there. We put it on the fence. We already knew how the media was already like taking pictures of us and the cameras facing us. So we knew exactly where to put that sign at so they could see, our name. We put it up. We hired a drumline band called Positive Movement Entertainment. When you have time, look them up. They're an awesome group. And hopefully we can get them into Citizen Bank Park. But they came out during the Yankee series, I believe. Yeah, it was a Yankee series.
Yeah, between the doubleheader.
Yeah, between the doubleheader. And as they started, man, everybody. I'm talking about everybody on the radios, the broadcasters, the players, the front office was like, "What the hell's going on?" Because they played for like 2 innings, and
yeah, they were just playing between, but they came. It was like the eighth or ninth inning of the first game, and they they came a little bit early because remember it's supposed to be like the in between game entertainment. Remember?
Yeah, and we just told them keep going, and then while they were entertaining us, Bryce Harper and JT Remuto hit was it back-to-back home runs?
Yeah, it was back to back. I remember hearing that like everything going crazy with the drums and stuff like when they were rounding the bases. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, and then I remember my fiance because she was coming late. And she pulled up. She was like, no, she called me. She goes, what's going on out there? I hear the drums. I was like, yo, they're out here. Like, this is our debut. We're making our name known.
We got Philly Elmo out here with us.
Yeah, it was. Well, listen, it was nice because even the beat writers had to leave their post from inside, and they came out wanting to interview us, take photos, video.
I remember the game I was at. 6ABC came and interviewed, and took pictures and stuff. And then, around Christmas time, you guys were on it again for the bobbleheads, and I was on the news. Like they got a video of me, I guess, and I got on, the news with from that day. What?
That's always great. We always like when the more people that were out there to get on, the better.
Oh yeah. Loved it.
Oscar and I are sort of like the ringleaders, but the crew's like anybody that's passionate about the Phillies, that is positive about the Phillies, that supports the team, that that isn't a jerk, that can behave and follow the rules. Oscar and I are just you need somebody kind of organize it and kind of put it together and be like the figureheads. But the crew's more than just me and Oscar. The crew's everybody that was out there this past summer, for whether you're there for one or all 60 games, because like Butch was there. Butch probably there about 50 games. Me and you were there for every game. But so we like when other people get involved and when other people get the recognition. Like sometimes it's good. Like when I think there was an interview where Oscar and I weren't even mentioned, and we were like, "That's awesome."
Yeah.
It was like that's great. We weren't even mentioned. We weren't in any pictures, except for kind of just in the background. Sort of, it was good. So we're glad you got to be part of that, and that's a memory you'll have. Someday if you have kids or grandkids, they'll ask you about the pandemic. You'll have that story to tell about how you were a Phillies fan and, your dad took you out there. Not only were you able to be part of the crew, but you got to see a baseball game during the pandemic. You got to announce the lineup and you got to be on the news.
Yeah, that was awesome. And we think
it was just that the Phillies would have won. It would have been so much better.
It would have been. I mean, it's always good when they won, but you know what? This is more competitive than they've been recently. So, you got to look at it as a step in the right direction. Oscar touched on with Harper and Krew. I've been a Phillies fan since 1983, probably a little bit before that. I have my preschool picture. I'm wearing a Pete Rose shirt. So that was 1980, 79. No, either 1979 or 80. But anyway, Bryce Harper is the first big star to choose Philly for a long time. We'd always see all these other teams signing people, but never the Phillies. People didn't want to come to Philly. So Bryce Harper, chose Philadelphia. And, that's part of the reason why we decided we wanted to pay tribute to him as a thank you, as a, thanks for choosing Philly over, 29 other clubs that I'm sure would have loved to have you for, the next 13 years.
I made a video on the YouTube channel, in December, saying why he was going to go to the Dodgers, because it's nice in Los Angeles. They're getting rid of all these people. But I was like, I hope I'm wrong. And I was wrong, so...
Yeah, sometimes it's good to be wrong like that, right?
All right, so next question. You pretty much answered 3 of my questions. So,
the reaction, man. I'm pretty sure we could touch up on more.
All right,
yeah,
so I have a bunch more. So, this one's a funny one. What was your reaction? What was your first reaction to Butch?
Oscar, you tell that story.
Yeah. So, okay, I remember that I was at work. I remember my fiance's name is Giovette, by the way, and Giovette gives me a call because she listens to WIP while she's at work. And usually I listen, but sometimes it gets busy and I can't. I remember her texting me 911, give me a call. So I call and I'm like, "Hey, what's wrong?" She's like, "There's some guy on the radio named Butch, and he's talking about he's bringing 1,000 guys over there with baseball bats, and they're gonna show you guys how to do real leadership and run a crew." So I was like, a little worried about that. I remember, I think I texted Brett like, "Yo, I don't know who this Butch guy is." I always heard him on the radio, but there wasn't a face to him. So we went to a game. I remember it was a bad storm coming.
Yeah.
I forgot who we were playing that
I think it was
series.
a Friday night game against the Braves, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Friday night, though. I remember that much.
So we go, and I got there early just to, to check the scene, see what was going to happen. I noticed there was a car across. There was only one car, it was me, and I saw this guy come out with no shirt and a baseball bat swinging it around. So I put my window down. I said, "Hey, are you Butch?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm Butch. Are you Oscar?" I said, "Yeah." And you know what? Butch turned out to be one of the nicest guys this whole season out there. I mean, we had a, I don't want to say babysit, but we had to monitor him a little bit, 'cause very passionate. He loves Philadelphia. He just gets over passionate where you have to be like, "Hey, Butch, let's, keep it back a little bit because, there's cars just driving around. People are riding their bikes and there's kids around. So you got to watch your language a little bit." But overall, Butch to me is a good guy and is someone I talk to about twice a week. Real good dude.
Yeah,
I
Butch
got,
is.
guys,
Oh, sorry.
pick it up, Brett. I'll be right back.
So Butch is a lot more than what people think he is. Like, a lot of people don't understand what Butch is, but Butch is a super religious guy. Butch is a super good dude. He rides his bike every day and goes to church somewhere. He's Catholic. I don't know, Ben, did you run into Butch? Did you get one of these wallets?
No, I did not get one.
So Butch was giving out these $100 bill wallets, and if you see in there, he signs it to Brett for Butcher Maniac, and whenever he puts spread the word, spread the good news with a cross. Butch is surprisingly religious. He goes every day, and he's a very deep and complex dude. There were some nights where it was just me, him, and Oscar out there, and I really got to know Butch. And like Oscar, I talked to Butch. I talk to Butch probably about once a week. I like to keep him in the loop. See what's going on, see how he's doing, or he'll reach out to me. He was down in Atlantic City one day. He's like, "What's your favorite number?" And so I told my favorite number. He's like, "I just won $200 on roulette on that." So Butch is a really good dude. And I don't know really if you had much of a chance to talk to him, but he's very passionate. And he's a good example about somebody that's very passionate about the sport and about the team and about the city, whose energy, when harvested the right way, is exactly what we need.
Hey, so Brett, I don't know if you can see, I got a picture of Butch right here. He gave me a baseball card.
What the hell's that Orioles crap?
But this is a younger picture of Butch.
Yeah, I see that from '96.
I was about to say that looks exactly like him. I didn't know. I thought it was like some random baseball player.
His yearbook picture's out on the internet somewhere. Where do we find that? On WIP or something? Remember we found his senior picture?
Yeah. He it has like his batting average and everything. Butch batted 377. It's so man, look, Butch is a good guy. I keep this on my refrigerator. He gave me this, man. Love Butch.
Yeah, we do love Butch. We saw him around the holidays at the store. We actually got to meet his wife and stuff, which was cool because he would talk about her a lot, and I know he spent a lot of time with her, but she was afraid to come out, so it was good to meet her. We met his son one time. He does pizza reviews, so we did a pizza review with him for his YouTube channel. But yeah, we're really glad Butch came out. My mom and dad came out and he serenaded him with some doo-wop and stuff. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was a very
Yeah, my mom and dad still ask, "How's Butch? You talk to Butch?"
If Butch was one of those guys, like if we were losing and we were down, that'll
Would say his poems.
And then we'll look at Butch like, "Butch, give us a little poem," and they'll bring everybody back, their spirits back up, and sometimes we'll rally back, and sometimes we'll lose. But you know what? We were prepared to be there the next day and enjoy baseball again. That's the good thing.
I got one last thing to say about Butch. So we had one incident where somebody was kind of drunk, and he got out of hand, man, and things were going south quick. And we had a guy removed, but tensions were high. And I said, "Butch, we need a poem." And Butch did his poem, and the crowd got calmed down. We got right back on like it didn't even happen. And I was super appreciative of Butch for that because it's just me and Oscar trying to control 200 people out there. So people got to kind of please themselves. So anytime we could, have somebody like Butch come out and kind of help us out, that was really appreciated.
All right. So, did you ever think the Phandemic Krew would take off how it did?
Absolutely not. So, like, my idea was I thought I was going to sit outside in a lawn chair with a radio. And to be honest with you, my original plan before summer training was I was going to go sit out by where, like, they put the Christmas tree. So, out there, like, where, like, the
the third base gate.
Mike Schmidt statue is. I thought we'd just sit out there just because it'd be fun to be like, oh, the game's in there, we're out here, and, like, that was my original thought and idea. And then, like Oscar said, when we went over to summer training, well, he didn't say this part, but how we got the idea from the spot we were at is because we could see that when you're doing batting practice, we could see the balls coming out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're like, well, this will be a spot. And no, I had no idea. Like, to be honest with you, even when it started to grow a little bit, like I thought I still remember how excited we were when the radio invited us on, Oscar?
Yeah.
I remember like telling all my family and friends and stuff, and like just being like, wow, man, we got put on the radio. Kevin Franzen did a podcast with us. And then I thought that was the height of it. Like, wow, Kevin Franzen. And, he's a really good dude too, man. He talked with Oscar and I for about an hour after the podcast until it cut us off. We were still talking. It cut us off. Actually, I was talking to Kevin the other day. Oscar said hi.
He didn't even cut us off. It was the actual Zoom that. But
the timed out.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I never expected all this with bobbleheads and Christmas ornaments and shirts and.
See, now I didn't expect the bobblehead. I kind of knew like the more we were congregating out there that we could have a group. I mean, I was always a fan of how Philadelphia fans always started like a fan group in the section. I didn't know that it was gonna take off like this. I just say, hey, we got mentioned on the radio, and that's it. That was the height of it.
We were on TV.
TV, and you know what, man? It was a perfect storm to be center field because the way everything's set up with the televisions out there, and that helped out a lot. And Phillies turning them on for us. That's like, because they had to turn them things on for us. You know what I mean? We could have been lost with just the radio because there was like a 20 to 30 second delay. You know what I mean? So having those TVs on were very important because they were like, what do you say, Brett? Like 5 second delay, maybe 3?
Yeah, it was a lot quicker. So how it usually seemed to work was the people in the lounge would be like, yo, and then everybody turned to the TV because we knew something was about to happen. And then we'd be able to hear it on the radio, almost like a replay. The radio was almost like a replay. I
remember, like, when I was there, like, the TVs, like, no one said anything about the TVs. And then I blew the air horn because I saw something happen on the TV, like they scored a run or something. And then everyone was like, don't blow it, it's in the middle of a pitch. And then, like, 20 seconds later, they scored. And I was like, that's what I just told you, but that just happened.
Okay. Yeah, you're tipping us off, yeah. So, what was I saying about TV? So, like, even on the road games, they put the TVs on for us. And, speaking of Kevin, because I was telling him over Twitter on Messenger, one of my last tweets to him was like, yo, Kev, you guys get the TV on? And he was like, yep. So, like, you know what I'm saying? It was cool. Like, we would just message the guys in the booth or put a sign out there. And, we made a lot of friends in the Phillies organization. There's a lot of good people that work for the Phillies that people are very negative about the Phillies and down right now, but there are a lot of good people that work for the Phillies that we've met along the way. Some we knew before this, but we met a lot more or got to know other ones better. We're talking about like game day employees. We're talking about people that work in the store. We're talking about security, executives. Like, they all been super cool and supportive and nice. Like I can't think of one of them that's been a jerk to us. They've all been cool. The one person that was a jerk doesn't even work for the Phillies. He works for like the parking people. We won't get into him, but his goal was to like make us sure we didn't have fun or something. I don't know what his problem was.
All right, so let's get into some memories. Like, what was your favorite game? Who's the coolest person you met? Give me a summary of like the season, pretty much.
Favorite game. You know what? My favorite games, and it was a loss, but it showed the pride and passion of Philadelphia sports fans. And it was the game, and it isn't because Sports Center was out there, but they were out there. It was the game when John Middleton came out, and it wasn't even just him coming out. That was a big plus. But it was, we were down like, hey, Brett, we were down, 7 runs?
Yeah.
But we didn't get up, and we came back. And we only lost that game by a run or 2. But it just shows that any other casual fan would have been like, all right, I'm out.
They would have walked out.
And we don't give. So even though it was a loss, that's one of the games I forget because it showed our passion. No one left. Everybody was still rowdy. Sports Center was there to capture it. John Middleton coming out, taking the time to sign everybody's stuff. It wasn't like he was there to sign 2 or 3 things. He was signing everybody's stuff. He took questions from everybody, and even the
sign fair right here.
Signed Jay, you know what I mean? All questions, and he sat there. He took it, and he did answer to it one time, and his answer was, "It takes 2 to tangle." Listen, we haven't had a personal conversation with John Middleton about this, the current things that are going on in Philadelphia. I mean, Brett talked to him in the past, just running into him in the park. But we know this guy is a Philadelphia sport. He loves Philadelphia, and he wants to win just like we do. So I believe there's a lot of things that are happening in the background. But listen, the guy wants JT here. He wants a winning team here, and he wants to bring a trophy to us. So, I respect the man. I can't wait for this season, and hopefully we got the right people in place to put the right pieces in the team so we can celebrate a championship in Philadelphia.
And he asked about like greatest game of memories. To be honest with you, a lot of those games blurred together because it was a daily thing. Like I kind of felt like almost like what the players probably go through, like where it's a daily thing. So like a lot of times I have trouble like remembering game to game, but I remember all the great people we met. Like I remember, you remember when we sung "Happy Birthday" to Murph?
Yeah,
and you could tell Murph loved that because Murph was going through a transition. I always love Murph. Everybody loves Murph because he's such a good guy. And we waited afterwards when he came out. Who was it? It was me, you, and Eric. I don't know who was out there.
I remember watching the video. Yeah, it was you 3.
But anyway, so we sang him "Happy Birthday," and you can just tell it meant a lot to him. Like I was talking about Kevin Franz and being on his podcast, and we were just talking about some memories and like some like favorite players, and meeting Howard Smith and Kevin Tedesco, or 2 executives for the Phillies, and getting to know them when they closed off the stadium because of the Eagles, but we were allowed to come in. I remember all the people we met out there, including you, Ben. The people we met out there, and then some people like Bev Miller, who I knew, but like I got to know better. I like to have my wife Erin and my dad and my kids, and everybody got to come out. Like just a whole. Let's face it, 2020 wasn't the best. 2020 was a difficult year. For many reasons. So to have something that could bring a little bit of a distraction or a break was great. And, it was great for Oscar and I. I mean, Oscar and I still, like, it's the off season, man, but we still 3 days a week, discussing, planning, doing something, we're still, figuring something out or, planning for what's coming up in 2021. And, those are memories I always take with me. I always remember like being out there with my family and, being out there with friends and meeting all the new people, so for me, that's my greatest memory. What's your greatest memory, Ben? What was your favorite memory when you were out there?
Definitely being on the news for sure.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
Brett,
Tim Gardner talks and then you're on it. That's great.
Hey, Brett, you know that when Ben sent me, he submitted his video to me for the, the thank you video we did.
Yeah.
That
signed JT. I know, he turned around.
Yeah. I remember, Brett, I'm like, man, should I edit that out? And I'm like, no, it's like a Philadelphia like passion.
Yeah.
It's like the Phandemic Krew was saying. It's the Phandemic Krew, and then in small print under it, signed JT.
Yeah,
exactly.
So then,
I mean, your video won't beat Milt. Thank you, Phillies. Thank you, MLB. That's still my favorite one.
Video, and I watched a. Hey Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a. I think it was an NBA.
NBA DoorDash commercial. Yep.
Oh, it was a DoorDash commercial, and I looked over and I saw Ben, and I'm like, "Is that Ben? Like I just put on my video." And I told Eric, my buddy, I said, "Yo, rewind that back." And I saw you on there. I was like, "Man, check this kid out, man. He's all
wait. You're on a DoorDash commercial?
Yeah.
yeah."
So tell me a little bit about that, Ben.
All right. So here's the story. Okay. So this was like a month before the commercial was like even being made. Some guy reached out to me. No clue who this guy is. He messaged me through Instagram. He's giving me like all this information, NBA DoorDash commercial, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So like my parents like looked him up and stuff. My dad called him, and like he said like this is legit because I've been like some stuff has happened in the past. We're not gonna talk about that though. So
it's part of life, Ben. Ben, you'll go through that stuff. It's part of life.
So what? So then like we got it. Everything. Yeah, the guy is from Philadelphia. He's a Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, whatever fan. He just bought a house like right near like Parker Park, I think it's called. Packer Park.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
So he's like Philly sports fan. So I posted a video a while like I don't know if you guys are in with the 76ers at all, but when Kawhi Leonard made that game-winning buzzer beater shot in the playoffs, I was watching my TV and I was recording it because like this could like it was coming down to the wire. I recorded the entire fourth quarter. It was like a 20-minute long video. It has 20,000 views.
Oh wow!
And so when he made it, I was throwing stuff, raging or whatever, and I grabbed my carpet and I flipped it over, and like my basement was a mess. So I was like, "This is gonna be a good video." So
that shot was a payback for the double doink, by the way.
It was the quadruple doink.
Yeah. So how did you? So what's the DoorDash commercial? What they got like the delivering pizza to you or something?
It's like an NBA commercial. It's like a bunch of other people like reacting to shots, and there's two different versions. One went up at the beginning, one went out at the end. Sorry about that. The Zoom meeting ran out of time, so we're just gonna start fresh. All right, we're back with the questions. All right, next question. What is the story with all the merchandise and the bobbleheads and the T-shirts and whatever?
You take this one, Oscar.
All right. So, while we were out there, me and Brett, we were getting questions by other Philly fans, like, "Hey, you guys got T-shirts and this and that." And I remember doing because I run the Instagram Phandemic Krew, and I remember getting messages from all type of T-shirt companies, and I remember putting out to all of them, whoever most donation money, that's who we're gonna go to. There was a certain one that reached out to us, so we went with that company. Came up with a charitable T-shirt for the Phillies charity. Once the T-shirts came out, we were very successful selling them.
Ben has one on right there.
I ordered mine literally the day it came out. I was like, "Mom, I need this T-shirt."
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do have it on. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
And you know what? We set the bar pretty high. Me and Brett. I remember me and Brett were talking on Kevin's podcast, and we threw the number out there, $25K. Why not? You know what I mean? Remember the first time we hit like 3,000.
Yeah.
We were like, this is really cool. 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. It was really moving. We hit the 16,000 goal. That was towards the end of the season. I think the last game of the season. It was like $16,000. I can't forget that $50 because every bit counts.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to the Phillies, and we were like, whatever we could do for Phillies charity, this is what we're here. You know what I mean? We're great fans. We went to a game one day. I forgot what series it was. The one is came down every game just to make sure we were being safe out there with the mask and hand sanitizer.
Yes, checking in.
Yeah, and he said, "Hey, Brett, I got to talk to you guys. Meet me at the third base gate." And I remember looking at Brett. That long walk took forever because I thought I'm looking at, you put anything up that got us in trouble? And, look at me. I was like, I didn't put anything up. So we met him at the gate, and we met Michael and Francine Fields. And I remember Howard saying, remember when I told you guys good things happen to good people? And we were like, yeah. He said, well, this is your moment. We didn't know who they were yet. They introduced themselves. Me and Brett kind of like looked at each other like in shock, total shock. And we were just talking the love of baseball, the love of Phillies baseball, and what our goals were, where we see baseball in the future, and a couple of things that baseball was doing that was holding things back. They handed us a folder. Hey, Brett, I know you remember this, man. They handed us a folder. We didn't know what this was.
I still have it. It's in the Fandemic archives.
And we peeled that onion back, man, and we saw a rough draft of a bobblehead. At first, we still didn't know. We were looking at it, and they explained it to us.
Right there.
It was the Phillies way. This is the Phillies front office, Jonathan, Michael, Francine, way of helping us with our charitable cause. The first bobblehead, and let me get this clear. They put all the money out to sell these bobbleheads. That one raised, was it $7,000, Brett?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like 7 or 8 grand.
I have number 24 out of here. Let me check.
350, 320. I think there's 320.
320, yeah.
320. The second one, I think, was supposed to be $10,000. But with everything together, we're getting close to our goal of close to $40,000 of charity money that went to 39 organizations under the Phillies charity. And we couldn't be more happy about that. And we did that, Philly fans did that without stepping foot inside the ballpark. And we should all be proud of that. But it just wasn't me and Brett. It was all of us, all Philly fans.
Yeah, everybody bought a shirt, a bobblehead, and, what have you. Mike Francie's John Middleton's daughter, by the way, and she's married to Michael. So that's where they come in. And it was Howard Smith that decided on the bobblehead. He had some connections over at FOCO, and that's kind of how the shirts and the ornaments and all that came about too. FOCO's been great to us. They've sent us out masks to give out to people. They've sent us out what do they call those? Those oversized hoodies you always see people wearing. Yeah, Oscar was wearing his yesterday. So yes, I mean the merchandise is, we signed a little contract with FOCO. It's not exclusive or anything, but where we can partner up and make some stuff. And they helped us design a logo. And MLB had to sign off on the use of the P. So, we're major league recognized. We're all official. Yeah, there it is. It's like an oversized hoodie. I'm a big guy. So that's my best fitting shirt I own. I wear that thing, man. That's like everybody else. It's like wearing like what are those called? Snuggies. Yeah. All right. So Ben, what else you got for us?
All right. So now we're going into the future. What can fans expect in 2021 and down the road?
Well, hopefully, one thing everybody expects is a Phandemic Krew will be there. So hopefully we're inside the stadium. If we're inside the stadium, the Phillies are letting us run our own section, which is 301. My original goal was, I'm a big soccer fan, and most soccer teams have supporter groups. And I always wanted to have a Philly supporter group.
Like the Sons of Ben and stuff.
Exactly. Sons of Ben, we have a great relationship with them. They've actually, you said we've been an inspiration to them, but they're the ones that were an inspiration to us. When the first year the union existed, I had season tickets in the River End. The guy I used to go with, he wasn't a fan of that, so we switched to the other side, to the non-River End. But it was something I always wanted to create with the Phillies. So we're going to be in section 301. And the reason why that is because when there's a homer and the camera pans to the bell, we're all going to be there. So, going nuts. Now, there's some details we worked out as far as, air horns and things of that nature, but we're going to be in 301. Now, if for whatever reason the season starts like last year, where we'll be. We'll be right there at 10 Phillies Drive. One way or the other, the crew will be out there and we'll be supporting because, to be honest with you, I went to 50, 60 games a year anyway. So, what's the difference? I'm just adding another 20 games, but we'll be out there. We will be out there for all 81 games next year. And, we hope, Ben, that you join us and all your followers, they come out. Whether you want to join us for one game or all 81 games, we'll be releasing details about how you can purchase tickets. We're working out some details about maybe including Can't get into too many details right now, but have it more than just be buying a ticket for a section. We're still trying to figure that out. We're really concentrating on that for now, but we do have long-term plans of road trips. First bus, maybe someday go out to the West Coast and spring training as well. And if Philly's going to the Hall of Fame, we'll definitely be going as well. Ben, did you buy our plane tickets to Australia yet? Didn't you say your tickets to Australia?
Well, about that. We can't really go to Australia right now. So we can't. I don't think I'll be able to.
Excuses, Ben. Yeah, but we're very excited for 2021. I mean, we all are Phillies fans. We're gonna be the other way, but now we have something a little extra special to go and check out. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
All right, so this is kind of like maybe question because like a lot of teams don't have fans right now, but the Flyers are starting this week. Sixers started a couple weeks ago. They're in the midst of their season right now. So do you think any other teams will reach out if you can like blow the horns inside of their stadiums? I know they're inside, but
well, we had a close relationship with the Union. We went to many games with them. They gave us jerseys and everything. Like that's a Phandemic Krew. If you go on our Twitter, Ben, you can probably pull a picture on it. You can superimpose it on your video. But we've already had a close relationship with the Philadelphia Union and the Sons of Ben. We're really concentrating on the Phillies. We're obviously open to anybody. I'm a big Sixers fan. I love the Sixers. Like for me, I would love to go out there and ring that bell. How great would that be? Where they come out and ring that bell.
A lot of players are doing it now because like they can't really have like anyone else come in.
Yeah, I know the players do it. Who did I see doing it the other day? Who did I see? Maxey or somebody was doing it.
Yeah, Tyrese Maxey.
There were some talks about us going out to the Eagles Stadium, but we kind of talked amongst ourselves, and we're sort of like, how would we feel if some big Eagles fans took our place inside the stadium? Right? So they're letting them limit number of people. Not that Oscar and I are Eagles fans, because we are. But, like, how would we feel if, like, we're the biggest Phillies fans, and all of a sudden there's all these Eagles fans going in before us? So we kind of took a backseat. Now, if anybody reached out, of course we do it. We're Philadelphia. We've done a lot of things below and above the surface that maybe you see, maybe you haven't seen, and we'll continue to do that. We got some stuff coming up.
All right, so the Phillies are obviously in the offseason right now. So I want to talk a little bit about the Phillies offseason. Do you have any predictions? What do you think about the Francisco Lindor news with the Mets? Like anything like to say about this offseason?
I am concerned as a fan. That there's no moves being made. And listen, there has been moves. We just signed another pitcher from San Francisco.
Very questionable move. He isn't that good looking at his stats.
Yeah, but we didn't really do too much to get him, though, to be honest with you. We didn't like trade anybody or do anything really. I mean,
I think everything. I think what's in the way right now is the whole JT Realmuto thing. Once, if he's a Philly or not, that kind of like clears the avenue for them to make other moves. But it's hard to make moves when you have someone. I mean, if you sign JT, that's a big investment. But yeah, there's a lot of holes. I mean, when I saw the Lindor sign, I'm Puerto Rican, and I always wanted Lindor, like a Lindor or a Javi Baez, to be in our infield. So when he went to the Mets, it did stab me in the heart a bit. But again, like I was talking to Brett, I see that Chicago's making a lot of moves. They're dumping contracts and stuff like that.
Chris Bryant is going to be.
So, man, if the Phillies can splash like a Javi Baez or Contreras or, even a Chris Bryant, because I even heard rumors that the Mets are still going after Chris Bryant. I am concerned as a fan, but I do trust Dave Dombrowski and the front office to do the right moves for the future of the Phillies.
So, and to be honest with you, the biggest move of the offseason for Oscar already happened. What was that, Oscar?
So we signed Alvarado from Tampa Bay Rays. So I'll be buying a jersey if they sell his jersey, but I could buy the game used one. He's a big boy like me.
Oscar's last name's Alvarado. So now you can get the jersey. Let's talk to John Hollinger, the Athletics guy. We'll get one from him.
Yeah, you followed me on Instagram the other day, and I saw Alvarado. I was like, is he related to the guy that we just signed? Because I had no clue what your last name was.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's not avocado.
It's not avocado, but yeah, he's from. I mean, listen, he's a 90, 95 and up thrower. I mean, you see how baseball's built right now. Their bullpens all high velocity. So, you know, to get a guy like that in there, that's good. We're headed the right direction, but there's still a lot of holes to fill. I mean, we got center field, the middle of our infield, catcher. There's a lot of holes, and then hopefully we get a lot of good news trickling in.
I remember talking to you on like Christmas when you called, and you didn't know about it, but Joe Girardi said like the other day or something. He said we're not getting our catcher and our shortstop back, so that's DD and JT. But I don't know if that's true or not because rumors have been going everywhere that they.
I think he was talking about Debbie Grulion.
Yo, he lost a lot. Guy, man, I'm upset about that. Here, he was a pudgy guy. Now you can see a six pack, man. He's over there.
He signed with somebody the other day. He's not on Boston anymore. He signed with somebody else. I saw it the other day. You know, but Ben, you got to remember someone Lindor. He's on the last year of a deal. So I watch a lot of MLB Network, and the GM for the Indians was saying like they tried to sign him and they just couldn't come to terms with him. You know, so they had to get rid of him. They had to cut, you know, get something out of it. So, you know, the Mets may be in this position next year where with JT, where they got their fans having signed Lindor signs.
Well, they just got the Mets just got James McCann as well for like 5 years.
Yeah, so, you know, there's still that outside chance. Like they talk about like the Nationals might pick up JT. But what I'm saying, though, is like we weren't supposed to make some moves until next year, till 2022. And, you know, some people aren't really paying attention to is a collective bargaining agreement expires. So that's going to change a lot of things. And I think you're going to see, like I was saying a few years ago, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have a labor issue. I'm not going to say a stoppage or a strike, but some sort of issue, because right now the owners have a lot of money control and the players want to get in on some of that. I mean, it's business. I mean, you can read up on it, but you know, Tony Clark has kind of made it, and he's the president of the Players Union, has kind of made it clear that he wants more profit sharing and, you know, things of that nature. And Oscar and I actually learned a little bit about that side of the business with the bobblehead. Yeah. You know, we learned that like when they make a Bryce Harper bobblehead, that money all goes into a pot that they split amongst all the players and the teams as well. And like that was something I didn't realize, which was kind of weird. You know, I figured, you know, I don't know how he feels about Velasquez getting a piece of his bobblehead money, but you know, whatever. You know, so I mean, it's one of those things. Like people have to be patient. You know, like if we don't do anything major this year, you know, there's the free agent market for other years. Like it's not like it's one and done. You know, we still have Harper for many years. We still have a young Nola. We still have a young Hoskins. You know, we got to see how Knapp, you know, possibly matures and Kingery possibly matures. You know, we got to see how Hazley goes. We have McCutcheon's contract winding down. You know, we have a, you know, Segura, I think he's on the last year of his deal as well. So there's a lot coming up for the Phillies in 2022 and beyond.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is you said that we got to be patient. That's not what really happens here in Philadelphia. We're not very patient.
Well, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that people are that way.
Yeah, but everybody's concerned, Brett, to speak on it real quick. Everybody's concerned about just having a great team around Bryce Harper's prime. So they kind of want to get it going right now. And I do understand that. But again, there's the business side of it that we don't understand all of it. But I mean, that's what happens in baseball.
What I'm hoping is when Harper's contract is up, like he's 13, so it's going to be like a bar mitzvah when his contract is up. If I'm still doing Philly sports reports, I'll be like 22. And what I want to do is like have a bar mitzvah kind of. And like I'll invite Bryce Harper and a bunch of Phillies fans into like this place or whatever. And have don't
forget your boys, the crew.
Yeah, you guys will hopefully pitch in with that as well. But like down like 11 years from now, I think that would be really cool if like we could like have a bar mitzvah for his contract. If the Phillies win a championship, and
you know, we'll all be happy because we have 6 World Series because we were patient. Because remember, when you go out and sign people just to sign people, you end up with Jake Arrieta, Andrew Bynum, and Vince Young. You know, just don't buy something to buy something. If the right pieces aren't there, sit on the money. Develop what you have. You know, bring up some of these guys in the minors like Damon Jones, like he's a pitcher in the minor league. You know, see what you have down there. Don't just spend money because you have it. Don't overpay. Be patient. And you're right, Philadelphia fans aren't patient, but like, you know, they'll be happy when we have a championship. You know, nobody remembers 2005, but we all remember 2008, you know? Yeah. Like, yes, they're not patient, but they'll appreciate when it happens.
I always like to say that 5-year run where they didn't make the playoffs in 2006, but I like to say it started in 2006 with Ryan Howard hitting the 58 home runs and us getting just so close. I like to say it started that year.
Actually, 2005, if the Astros would have lost one more game, they would have had a playing game. I still have the ticket. I was supposed to go. It was supposed to be a playing game versus the Astros, but the Astros won that day. We won too, but the Astros needed to lose for the playing game. So yeah, be patient.
There's a lot of players that they weren't on that 2018, but they played a big part. And Aaron Rowan is one of them, those guys, man. And even like Tom Gordon, Bobby Abreu, like they played part of it. So even when we celebrated in 2008, I always kept those guys in mind and what they did for the Phillies.
Yeah, right. Jim Thome coming in and signing that deal, even though he didn't last that long with us. Ed Wade making all those moves over the years.
Yep.
Drafting Hamels and Rollins and Utley and Howard.
The final question. What is your way too early 2021 regular season prediction? Are we winning the World Series? Are we going to Hutch 6-2-0? Are we not winning a single game? What's your predictions?
We're going to win the World Series every year. I don't even play around when I say that. When I go into a season, the off season, going into training, it's always in my head. We're going to win the World Series just because of 1993. You know what I mean? I know you're too young for that, but that was a year that was just a bunch of misfits together, and they weren't supposed to be anything. They were supposed to be last place again, and they wound up going to the World Series, and it broke my heart, but it's something I will never forget. But it put the mindset in my head that any year can be your year. So going into this season, guess what? We're winning the World Series, and that's it. And no one can change my mind until the Phillies, actually are mathematically out of it.
And, I have that same mindset because every year there's a team that you don't expect to come out, and it comes out nowhere. Things just click. Oh, not just on your team, but, they don't click on other teams. The Mets are signing all these people, a couple injuries, a couple, you got a Kyrie Irving where it's like, I'm just not playing today kind of situation with the Mets. And, next thing you know, the team's in turmoil. Yeah, the Mets and the Braves do have pretty good teams. I'm not going to deny it. They have some great players on there. But, I think they're going to do well. It also depends on this. If baseball keeps their format where they have, if they keep the expanded baseball format, that benefits the Phillies because more teams will get in.
So, I like how the playoffs they had this year were more teams made because I didn't feel like not enough teams made it.
I think 14 teams is the current plan. But, that's again with the union. The union's kind of talking. So they're saying, well, if we give you the DH, we'll do this. But they're talking about money. I was reading about the other day. They want more money because they're playing more games, which, makes sense. Like I have a job. If I work more, I want more money too. At the end of the day, it is their job. But, every game I go to, I never go to a Phillies game ever once and be like, they're losing today. Never once. There isn't like one time. So as far as I'm concerned, they are going 162-0. Now, realistically, no team's ever going 162-0, but it doesn't mean that they can't be super competitive, that they can't, make the playoffs. And once you get there, it's anybody's game.
All right, that's all my questions. We went through all 16 of them. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys next time.